The Honorable Jodi M. Hoos, Circuit Judge of the Illinois Supreme Court, will deliver our commencement address this morning. Professor Agard mentioned earlier that we were proud to call Regent Ferris our own, and we are. That's absolutely true. But we're also very proud to call Judge Hoos one of our own. She grew up in Amherst. Most of you know where that's at. While with her 3 older brothers, no sisters, taught her how to compete. I can't believe that. Survival of the fittest. And her parents taught her the importance of hard work, teaching others, and treating others as they would want you to be treated as well. In 1987, a tragic car accident took the life of her father, and that resulted in a jury trial that taught her firsthand the impact of the judicial system on everyday people's lives. Outside of that courthouse, she knew that she was going to spend her career inside of one. After graduating valedictorian from Amherst in 1993, she came here to UNK, where she was a 4-year starter at third base for the Loper softball team. She was honorable mention All RMAC and 2-time academic All RMAC. By the way, during those 4 seasons, the softball team won 3 conference titles and twice reached the Division II National Championship Elite 8. Their banner is right up here. She graduated magna cum laude in 1997 with a degree in political science. She earned her Juris Doctorate from the University of Nebraska College of Law in 2000. She began her professional career in Illinois as an assistant state's attorney in the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. In 2007, she became the chief of the felony division, and by the time she left the state's attorney's office, she'd worked every criminal courtroom, traffic, juvenile, misdemeanor, domestic violence, and felony. She's tried more than 125 jury trials and handled over 40 murder cases. And on December 29th of this last year, the Illinois Supreme Court appointed her to the bench. She remains fond of her small town and of her alma mater. She is passionate about believing in fairness and following the law. Judge Jodi Hoos, it is our honor to welcome you this morning back home to the home of the Lopers to be our commencement speaker. Dr. Hoos.
Thank you for those kind words, and obviously for inviting me back to be here today. It is great to be back. Thank you, class of 2015, for graduating, so I have a reason to be here. So let's talk about you, because really that is the reason that we are all here. Who are you, class of 2015? You are 693 people. 519 are undergrads, and 174 of you are graduating with your graduate's degree. 120 are graduating with honors, and you represent 25 other countries outside the United States: the Bahamas, Canada, China, Colombia, Indonesia, the Ivory Coast, Japan, Korea, and Mexico. So as Budweiser would say, here's to you. And really, what better represents you in today's society than a selfie? So my speech today is lessons from a selfie. Now, for those of you who may not know what a selfie is, don't panic. I've included the definition from Wikipedia. But then I realized if you don't know what a selfie is, you've probably never heard of Wikipedia. So I'm not going to bother telling you. But I'll give you a clue. If you see somebody, as you look around, and you see them holding a phone out in front of them, no, they are not farsighted. They don't have to hold it out there to see it. That is a selfie. And I want to talk about lessons that you learn from them. There are some very valuable lessons that you learn from a selfie, such as which side of the face is your good side, what color looks best on you. But, you know, those things can change. I mean, let's face it, when you're 50, your good side is going to barely look like a side at all, let alone a good one. And fashion changes too. A color that may look good on you today will not in 18 years, believe me. In 1985, a fluorescent, believe it or not, fluorescent colors were very popular, and I had every one of them: pink, green, orange, yellow. I wore them all the time. Today, well, now I can only wear those under my robe on the bench. No, I don't want to talk about those valuable lessons. I want to talk about lessons that don't change. So when you take that selfie in a few hours over that beer pyramid that you and your friends created, or maybe in a few minutes when you get bored with my speech, think about the lessons that you can learn. The first is youth. The fact is, it wasn't a grandma who invented a selfie. It was all those tween girls who couldn't stop looking at themselves in bathroom mirrors. And good for them. Because of them, we have created a self-absorbed society that keeps me employed. I can't tell you the number of cases that I've decided over social media, or thanks to social media. Those stories will be for my friends over our beer pyramid in a few hours. But while it may have been tween girls who started it, the selfie explosion is now everywhere. All ages, all faces, all races take selfies. But it really does represent our youthful side. And as you move forward in life, always remember your youth and where you came from. And always keep a youthful spirit. I turned 40, and I know, you're thinking women aren't supposed to tell their age, but I was also told they shouldn't be judges, and you can see how much I listen to that. So I turned 40 last summer, and I thought, dear God, I'm old now. This is it. And then I went out and tried to throw a softball, and I realized that old wasn't even in the right category. Think dinosaur. So as I was feeling sorry for myself, thinking that I was old, I came across this inspirational person, an individual by the name of Fauja Singh. Some of you may have heard of him. He's the turbaned tornado. Mr. Singh was born in India in 1911, and he was born with a birth defect that prevented him from walking. And he really wasn't able to walk until he was almost 5. And after years of therapy, he was 10 before he would even have what most of us would call a normal childhood. At the age of 89, his wife and son died one after the other, and he was completely overcome with depression. To deal with the depression, he took up running. Did I mention he was 89? This person who couldn't walk at 5 ran the London Marathon at 89. He went on to run 8 more. His best time was 5 hours and 40 minutes. 5 hours and 40 minutes. The only thing in Illinois that we do in 5 hours and 40 minutes is indict governors. Did you know that 4 of our last 7 have gone to prison? It's true. Wikipedia, for those who know what that is. Illinois, and that's the state I chose to move to. But I wanted to prosecute and thought there'd be job security, so. But I digress. Mr. Singh became the oldest full marathon runner after finishing the 2011 Toronto Marathon at the age of 100. Impressive. The Guinness Book of World Records, however, wouldn't recognize him because he didn't have a birth certificate to prove his age, only a passport. So what do we learn from Mr. Singh? 1, you're never too old. And 2, make sure you have a copy of your birth certificate. But imagine what Mr. Singh's selfie would have looked like when he was 5, and what it would have looked like when he was 100. And ask yourself, which of those 2 selfies would have most captured his youthful spirit? No matter what year is on your driver's license, you can still be youthful. Besides, you're never too old to dream. Humor. Humor is another lesson we can learn. Selfies represent humor. I mean, think about it. Even the most serious selfies are pretty funny. Friends of mine will post selfies trying to be funny, and they're not. But they post a serious one, now that is funny. If we can't laugh at ourselves, then we're missing the punchline. You can't be too serious with life because it will laugh at you. Believe me, there will be times the entire world laughs at you, not with you. And it's in those times that you learn my next lesson, humility. Who hasn't regretted a selfie that they've taken? If your hand is raised, it's only because you just woke up when I mentioned Illinois and governors in prison. The reality is, selfies can be quite humiliating at times. And really, people take selfies for themselves, which makes me think, why is it even called a selfie? It should be called an everyone else-y, right? Because you don't take that picture to then post it for yourself. You post it on social media for everyone else. The reason it's called a selfie and not an everyone else-y is because, as I mentioned, it was created by tween girls, and they don't know any better. But once you hit send, it is out there forever, and at times can be quite humiliating. And 2015 graduates, if you haven't had that regrettable moment yet, wait till tomorrow morning. Inevitably, some of you will wake up and think, dear God, why didn't I listen to that crazy judge lady when she said don't hit send? You will look at your media posts, or maybe your friends, and think, what did I do? Where was I? And who is that photobomber? Don't worry, those of you who didn't know anything about selfies or Wikipedia, I said photobomber and not Unabomber. No need to run for the exit. But when you find yourself in that regrettable moment, that's when you learn humility. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Trust me, it will make you stronger. You will come out a better person if you learn from it. You can learn much more from the bad things that happen in life than you ever will the good. Finally, selfies bring you confidence. If you're taking selfies, you have an ego. You are confident. And some of the pictures I've seen, people should be a little less confident. But confidence isn't simply having the strength to tackle things on your own. It also means you're strong enough to know when to ask for help. Realizing that things can be better accomplished with a little help. In life, be confident, but don't be afraid to ask for help along the way. Take advantage of people and products that can help you. For example, the selfie stick. Sure, you can take some pretty good selfies, but how great are the ones when you have the stick? And it reminds me of a story of a person who was confident in her own self, but confident enough to ask for help. And it's a story about Winifred Bristol, who at 47 was 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed 235 pounds. Her body mass index was 40. To just give you a comparison, 25 is considered overweight and 30 is obese. One day while taking a bath, she felt like she was dying, and she knew she needed to make a change. So she asked her daughter if she would go for a walk with her, because she knew she couldn't do it on her own. Her daughter did, and that first morning they barely made it a block. But they kept going each morning, each morning, each morning. At 68, Winifred Bristol bench pressed over 176 pounds and deadlifted 270 pounds. Both were world records. She obviously had a birth certificate. If Winifred Bristol had not been confident in herself to take that first step and not been confident enough to ask her daughter to help in that first step, she would probably be dead. Confidence is being strong enough to stand tall and smart enough to know when to lean on someone or something. It was 18 years ago that I set out there where all of you are. And if we had selfies back then, I probably wouldn't be here today, and I probably wouldn't be a judge. because I could only imagine what my softball teammates would have posted. And for that matter, my former teammate, Coach Holly Waller, would definitely not have a job because she would have posted the most. But you, class of 2015, selfies are all around you. They're everywhere, and we've seen them all. So continue to take those selfies. Go on to do great things, whether it's raise a family, become a CEO, or hopefully an unindicted governor of Illinois. But along your journey in life, take time to reflect on your time here in UAK and all that you have accomplished. Reflect on those lessons that you can learn from a selfie: youth, humor, humility, and confidence. And enjoy life.